So we'll start it. We're going to mark the center with the hole, which is eventually where the handle is going to go up through, and then that tells us where we can work on either side to make the hoe and the forks. I'm going to try and rotate around the anvil so I'm not always blocking the same person. So next time we bring it out, we'll start rotating through. We're at a spot where you can help make us draw it out and flatten it. So since it started out round, we want to make it square or rectangular. That metal has grain just like wood, so that helps strengthen it as we're doing that before we begin to shape it. So who wants to go first? Yeah, okay. So the important part, you might want to put that in real quick so I can explain something. Yeah. So what's on the anvil essentially is where we want to aim for. You don't want to hit a piece that's hanging off the anvil, because then it's going to just use that leverage to move the metal and stuff like that. So my dad Fred might also start pointing and showing you where you want to like direct your stuff. But it's a lot like hitting really thick clay. So start a little easy, right, until you get the feel for what the bounce is and more comfortable. Then you can hit a little harder. Just make sure that you have control and you feel safe doing it.
All right, man, you're on camera, brother. Let's go.
Yep, yeah, just from the edge of the anvil in. Yeah, right there. That should do it. Thank you.
So one of the things with blacksmithing is you can only hit it while it's hot like that. Otherwise, you might break or crack the metal if it gets too cold.
Just what's above the anvil there, yeah? Okay, now just from there forward. Very good. Thank you.
Can you show it where the barrel has closed? Just kind of go around the circle. So you can see the barrel is just flat now. It's not technically forge welded or anything, but it's definitely sealed. One of the things about turning swords to plowshares is you're choosing to change something that has kind of like this instant purpose, where plowshares have kind of like a long range piece. And that's true in blacksmithing too. Like those of you who have already hit, you can tell how draining it is and how fast your arm starts to get tired. So blacksmiths often have a rhythm, like they'll do 3 hits and kind of rest like that, and then 5 hits and kind of rest. And all that's just kind of saving your energy to make sure that you have a constant output. So this is part of drawing out the metal, making it extended. So we've hit flat on one side. Now by hitting on the other side, it helps make it longer. You can kind of see it growing that way compared to what it was even just before he flipped it. lot of people ask kind of what the cost is or what does it take to get involved. There's a lot of trade schools, especially the further east you get. So in this area, you can learn how to blacksmith at different places like that, colleges. But a forge and an anvil, if you got a little over $1,000, you can get a really good version of both of those, which is not unlike buying your first set of like golf clubs kind of thing. For as far as this type of hobby goes, it's fairly inexpensive to get to, especially if you want to pair with your church or something like that. An organization that wants to help you and get involved in this, that's a great way to pair up. You can see the impurities falling off, the scale coming off there, the carbon content that's being burned out of it. It's also that the hammer is made of the same or similar steel to the gunmetal there, but it's cold.
Very good.
So it's telling kind of the hot metal where to go and how to be shaped. And that translates a lot to conflict resolution, that when you kind of have the cooler heads prevail, as you could say. So the anvil and the hammer is the community that is kind of acting and helping shape this thing that's malleable and vulnerable. So when we make this next cut, we're basically drawing a line down the middle of where the fork is going to be. And once we get that line and make sure it's straight, we can hit it harder to split that metal apart. So you want to match the line with the center of your hole a little bit too.
Looks good. You're too far over.
This right there?
That right there looks better.
I went off on that. Can I make a new line?
Where we're at now is called the step of the grind of the anvil. And that's supposed to be a little softer steel, so when you get close to getting through, you can go ahead some more. At home we have a little copper plate we put on there that absorbs that and protects the point of the splitter.
That helps you cut through.
What's that? We're in Colorado Springs, but Shane is in Philly. Yes. So Shane is looking for a permanent spot this summer sometime. So that's when that will be more available. Plus it won't be like this. Although blacksmithing in the summer has its own. You don't say. It gets real hot in those shops. So now you see he's bent away each side, kind of almost 180 degrees, just so he can get full access all the way around each fork. And then he'll bend it back in.